All right, so let's make some observations on Aaron. Okay, very definitive head turn there. We still want to aim to make that double apex one long radius instead of two corners. Got some good shoulder movement. Being a monster, it's not going to have the ground clearance of these other sport bikes, so we want to get some more hip movement as well, just to keep the bike more upright. What's allowing those riders to go faster into and through this corner is they're looking further ahead. Okay, Aaron's looking through the corner, but maybe not as far as them. Nice lines. A lot of street riders really over accentuate the line they cover through this section just because that's what we do on the street. But that's not a very efficient way of getting around a racetrack. Okay, so we're also trying to do the no braking exercise this session. The point of that is to increase our drive through and out of the corner. So we're literally increasing our corner speed. And the best way to do that is to reduce the straight line speed. And when you think about it, there's more corners on the track than there are straights. So it doesn't make any sense at all to maximize your straight line speed and sacrifice your corner speed. As a lot of people do, they say, I want to go fast. Okay, let's see the hips and then the shoulders. It's always good not to maximize your straight line speed in these situations because we're going slow enough that the 400s and smaller bikes, 300s, 400s, will be held up by us in the corners, but if we go so fast in the straights, I won't be able to get past there either. So it's just really frustrating, and we don't want to be that rider. So you can see the difference in the line there, Aaron. So when you make a mistake, don't let it bug you. Be a goldfish. Shake it off. Not literally, but just start your lap. Start the next lap from that point on. We don't have any least favorite corners. Anytime we have a challenge, that becomes our most favorite corner. That's the one I'm going to master it. I'm going to get that corner perfect, and all the rest will flow on from that point. Yes, and you'll find that the faster you go, the more you need to lean, and the more you lean, the more you scrape. So let's see if we see any brake lights. So we're getting off the gas extra early, and as a result, we've got 40% more brain processing power to use to focus on everything else. Body position, head turn, throttle application. So use that peripheral vision to look at the candy strut that you're going over, and use 95% of your focus for the reference point that you've identified. Remember, it's better to have a bad reference point than to have no reference point. So I'm looking for the tower. There it is. I can accelerate. As long as I stay to the right of the tower, I won't run off the track. Okay, so let's see the head turn. Do we see a head turn? Look through the corner. And we're going to make one smooth arc all the way through this corner. Tight, wide, and now steer with the throttle to make sure I go wide again. So a lot of that corner is about feel. For me, it feels comfortable to tip in. If you're not feeling comfortable, maybe there's an issue that we need to address. How long has it been since you serviced your forks? Suspension oil deteriorates and breaks down just like engine oil, especially for a street bike that gets used on a regular basis. They get worked by absorbing impacts from potholes and bad road surfaces. If you want it to maintain consistent damping, you have to swap it out on a regular basis. I would say at least once a year for a street bike. Because it breaks down, and over time, the 10-weight oil will have all the damping properties of water after a few years. Now we should also check your sag. Make sure that your suspension is operating in the middle of the stroke. Because if you've got too much spring preload, you'll find that the forks are not compressing. If you don't have enough preload, you might be bottoming out. If your forks are bottoming out, that's going to just destroy that feeling of confidence. It's going to feel hard and jarring, and it's not going to give you confidence going into a corner. If your damping rates are wrong, then you might feel pogoing or juddering, what do they call it? Chatter in the front fork. So these are all things that can take away from our confidence and reduce our corner entry speed. Okay, so we've got 20 minutes left in the session. I'll lead one more. And then I'll wave you bye. So I've just got a good, confident, solid, planted feel in my front tire. It makes me feel I can go faster. That's all based on the front end setup. My springs are specifically rated for my body weight. I've calibrated the sag, so it's operating. The fork is operating right in the middle of the stroke most of the time. My rear spring is also calibrated specifically for my body weight. But not only that, it's also optimized for my riding style. It's such a shame. Those three corners are just spoiled going in this direction. Going in the other direction is so much more fun. It's a increasing radius throughout those three corners instead of a decreasing radius in this direction. Okay. So, there's a list of things we should address during the period between track days. Fork oil, fork springs, fork compression and rebound damping, setting the sag, getting it to the right amount for your body weight, because a person who weighs more will require a different type of spring for the same sag, and a person who rides more aggressively will also need a different spring than someone who weighs the same on the same bike but rides differently. And then, of course, is the issue of the tires. So at the end of every session, you need to check the amount of wear on your tires. I'm very fortunate in that I have a display here that tells me what my pressures are, 32.5, 26.5. So I know that those pressures are low, but those pressures are reflective of the pace. The higher the faster the pace, the more temperature typically you develop. I wouldn't call that a 6-foot gap, but it was relatively safe. Now, there's the brakes that we were trying to avoid. So you just turned that into two corners. Good body position, good hips and shoulders, looking where you want to go. There you go. Don't focus on the rider in front of you. Let him ride his ride. You ride your own. If you find you're right behind someone really close, just look through them. Don't follow. The worst thing in the world is to follow someone else as they make a mistake. It's always better to be a witness, not a victim. Okay, so we need to lift our eyes up and further through the corner. Don't focus on what you don't want to hit. Focus on what you do want to hit. Don't worry about the hazards. If you don't look at them, you won't hit them, as I said. Each corner has a catcher's mitt, 3 or 4 places around the corner. stay on the extreme left. And we're going to try to make this next straight as long as possible by starting it right about here. And then drive in as close to a straight line as you can. Okay, look for the tower, use your peripheral vision to look at the candy stripe, but look for the tower. There it is, and accelerate hard. Stay to the right side of the tower, and you're going to be safe. Okay, so what we also need to do is after we've made all those changes to the suspension to get more feel, better tire, or the right kind of tires, the right tire pressure, the right damping, the right preload, and the right springs and the right fluid. After all that's been done, then we need to put a travel indicator around the slider, because if you find that your travel indicator shows that you've got like 3 inches of travel left, even under hard braking, then you need to adjust your settings. But if the travel indicator shows that you're bottoming out your forks or coming very, very close, again, you have to adjust your settings. And sometimes it's a new bike and it just doesn't feel good. You have to get used to it. But it's always good to set it up properly. It's much better to spend time and money on suspension than it is to spend time and money on engine. Don't worry about the expensive race gas if you haven't already optimized your suspension settings. And even before you put money into expensive race gas, get a lap timer. There's no point making all kinds of changes, because sometimes a change that actually makes you feel better makes you slower, and vice versa. Sometimes you make a change that feels terrible, but for some reason you're also able to go 2 seconds a lap faster. The only way you'll know that is if you have a lap timer. And of course, get yourself a logbook. Every time you're on the track, take note of everything. The weather, humidity, temperature, all of the suspension settings that have changed since the last time, since the last page in your logbook. Every time you change anything, you record it. And then of course, if you're serious, you record your lap times too. You might find that for specific weather conditions, you need to make a certain change. Peripheral vision for the candy stripe. Where's that tower? Where's the tower? There it is. Drive, drive, drive. So in these conditions, I'm actually using my peripheral vision to look at the student. Now, for some reason, it's saying my GPS doesn't have a signal. I wonder if that's accurate. Okay, so make sure you stay on my tail, just like I indicated. Tight, wide, steer with the throttle, tight, wide. Visualizing what's over the corner. Okay, I'm waggling my elbows to indicate shoulders. Okay, I'm also tapping my hips to indicate get off the seat more. Not all the way at first, but experiment with it. This is a school, Spotrider coaching. This is a great opportunity to experiment and try different things. Okay, we're going to go tight, steering with the throttle. Now, turn my head, I'm looking at the candy stripe with my peripheral, looking for the tower, there it is, drive, drive, drive. And what do you know? The edge of the track lines up just about perfectly with that tower. Okay, we got 7 minutes left in this session. Tight, wide, 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 wide. Tight, all one constant radius. I didn't adjust my lean angle. It was all just one corner. And I'm visualizing what's around this side over the hill. There, I can visualize this piece right here. And I'm looking past that corner worker station, but I'm using my peripheral vision to look at this candy stripe. Okay, that's better. Came through that quite a bit faster and smoother than last time. Now shifting for brakes. look through the corner. I'm using my peripheral vision to look at this spot right here, but I'm focusing on this spot right here. No brakes, no brakes, no brakes. Engine braking is all we need. Okay, you've got good line, good body position. We need to figure out why it is that your corner entry speed doesn't feel confident. 5 minutes left. I'll wave you by on this lap. Steering with the gas, steering with the gas. Okay, remember, single radius, tight, wide, wide, and then tight. It'll make sense in a bit, in a few sessions. You'll have it smooth as glass. Visualize what's over the hill, visualize that right there. I can visualize that green patch from down in the valley. Look through the corner. Don't look where you're going, look where you want to go. Don't look at third base, look at the catcher's mitt. Turn in late. Late. And drag race down the straight. Good looking through the corner skills. I need to remember to follow you to your pit so we can take a look at that front tire. If it looks like it still has hairy molding hairs, what do you call it? Gas release orifice hairs. Then we need to adjust the pressure. If the tire is torn to shreds, we need to adjust the pressure. So mine's 32 and 27, 32 front, 27 rear, which is a couple of PSI low on both, but at this pace, that would be why. Okay, it's 11:30. the thingy. It didn't record the lap again. So you're getting some temperature into your tires, but it looks like we need to... Do you know what pressure you have in your tires? So what I would recommend is dropping the temperature in the front 3 psi. Okay. And then see how that feels next session.